Hello and welcome to the Embroidered Elephant channel. My name is Kim and this is podcast number 27, nearly 30, hopefully 30 by the end of the year. How have you all been? I have been good. I have had a really good September. So as I was saying, it was a really busy September, so seeing a lot of people, a lot of loved ones, spending a lot of time with various friends. We've had games nights, we have had birthday parties, we've had a lot going on, so it's been quite busy, which is really nice. Speaking of Toft, I did have some other news. I entered the Toft Bertie competition. I will put my entry picture here if I can. I decided to put, Kimberly, this might be better to go at the start of the video. I decided that my Bertie would go with my wedding flowers. So I crocheted all of my wedding flowers for October last year, and I spent a lot of time and a lot of effort on making them, and they are obviously very sentimental to myself. I keep them displayed on my table and I see them very, very often, and I just love them, and I don't think that I would do another project like that for a while because it was a bit of a labour of love. I've really enjoyed it, but it was quite stressful. So, and I devoted a lot of time to it, just getting them done, you know, petal after petal after petal after petal. So yeah, I loved it, but whew, it was a bit much. So anyway, I put lovely Bertie, who is sat up here, in with my wedding bouquet for the photo shoot. I also have quite a busy month in October coming up. So again, various birthdays. There's my husband's birthday and my mum's birthday. And I've got 2 anniversaries, including my wedding anniversary, the first wedding anniversary, which will be very, very nice. So yeah, in total been very, very busy. Yeah, October will be quite busy as well. I will be moving a couple of shifts around just so that I can fit in a few more things. So my filming schedule will be a little bit different, but it shouldn't be any different from your side of things because I have pre-recorded a lot of videos and pre-scheduled them as well. So I may have mentioned in other videos that I have started pre-recording videos for the rest of the year. So I'm just looking at my schedule at the moment. So I've already filmed 2 videos for this month, and this will be the 3rd one. So I've got 1 more video to edit. For November, I've already done 3 videos. I have got 2 podcasts to do, so 1 at the start of the month and 1 at the end of the month. They will, obviously I can't do them in advance because I don't know what I've made so far. And then I've started on some videos for December as well. Now, the reason that I've started pre-recording my videos is so that I can make sure that I'm consistent with posting, and I take the pressure off as well. And also for some crochet projects, because I like recording the process and uploading it. Some projects do take a bit longer to complete. So by pre-recording videos, it gives me a bit of leeway if I don't finish a project in a couple of days, for example, or if I'm very busy that week. I've probably mentioned as well, in December I am changing my schedule. So instead of posting videos every Saturday, I will be posting a video every day of the week. So that is 23 videos in total till the end of December. So quite a lot, and I'm also going away for Christmas, so I won't be in this country, so it'll be more difficult to get all of that done day by day, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's also quite exciting. So I'll come back to those plans in a bit. But overall, September was a very good month. As I said, lots of time with lots of loved ones and being kept really, really busy at the weekends, which was really, really nice. So yeah. Now on to my crochet projects. I have got a couple of finished projects and I have got a work in progress as well. So I'll start with the work in progress. So this is a project that, again, I'm filming a video for to be uploaded at I think during December at some point. I haven't scheduled it yet. I haven't finished it, so it's not scheduled. So I've started this T-Rex. It is a pattern by Toft. It's a Toft kit. It uses just one colour, which I've gone for the colour on here, which is lime green. And it is Mini Gregor the T-Rex. So I bought this a little while ago. I think Toft were having a sale, so that's what sort of inspired me to get it. And I go through various phases of watching Jurassic World, Jurassic Park, and yeah, just love it, love it, love it, love it. So yes, focus Kimberly. So where I'm at the moment, I have finished his body, I have finished 2 legs, and I have finished his 2 arms. So the next things for me to complete are the head, the top and bottom jaw, which I haven't thoroughly looked at the pattern yet, so I don't know whether they are crocheted separately and sewn onto the face or whether they are crocheted as part of the face, and also the tail. So I'm hoping that that will not take too long. I haven't sewn any of the parts onto the body yet because I didn't know sort of how much space to leave, and I wanted it to be proportionate, if that makes sense, because once you've sewn something onto a crochet project, it's very difficult to take it off, because for myself anyway, I cut the yarn short, so it doesn't give a lot of wriggle room if you have to reposition it. So yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. I'm finding the pattern really easy. As I said, with the video that I am also filming with this T-Rex, I will be giving any tips, tricks or hints that I've found with the project, and I will also be telling you exactly how long it took, because I always find that really interesting. I like projects that are quite quick rather than ongoing, which is quite funny considering the project I've had going on all year, which is my book blanket. But I really enjoy the shorter projects so that they are done and I don't have to think about them too long, and I don't feel this big pressure to get them done. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that project. As I said, I'm using lime. I think I may or may not have said this. I'm hoping that this project will be done in around 3 hours. I've done about an hour and a half so far. I think the thing that will take me longer is the sewing it all together, but we shall see. On Toft's website it says this project should take between 1 and 5 hours, I think is the normal range that they give for mini projects. So yeah, and that is my only work in progress for the moment. Speaking of Toft, I did have some other news. I entered the Toft Bertie competition. I will put my entry picture here if I can. I decided that my Bertie would go with my wedding flowers. So I crocheted all of my wedding flowers for October last year, and I spent a lot of time and a lot of effort on making them, and they are obviously very sentimental to myself. I keep them displayed on my table and I see them very, very often, and I just love them, and I don't think that I would do another project like that for a while because it was a bit of a labour of love. I've really enjoyed it, but it was quite stressful. So, and I devoted a lot of time to it, just getting them done, you know, petal after petal after petal after petal. So yeah, I loved it, but whew, it was a bit much. So anyway, I put lovely Bertie, who is sat up here, in with my wedding bouquet for the photo shoot. The competition was concluded, I think on a Sunday, or I think that it was concluded on a Sunday, and then on the Monday they sort of went public with the winners. And unfortunately I didn't win, but the overall winner was someone that I'd seen their video and I expected them to win. To be completely honest, it was really good what they did, and they devoted a lot of time to the project or the competition. And I will also say, silver lining, it means that although I am disappointed that I didn't win, it also means that I have more time, more opportunity to go through the projects that I've already got rather than starting a new one, because I know that I would be tempted. So, you know, every cloud has a silver lining, and that's what I try and remember, because sometimes it's very easy to be a bit negative. Some situations are very negative, but it's trying to look for the silver lining. So I'd like to say overall I'm quite a positive person. So yeah, silver lining, I didn't win the competition. I haven't got loads more yarn to work with, so that's good. I am going to be giving this to my granddad for a present, and I will be arranging a visit to see him soon so that he can open it in person. I know that it's arrived safely because this took me quite a while, and if it got lost, I don't know if I'd want to make another one. I'm quite loath to crochet the same pattern over and over and over again. I'm not saying I never will, but yeah, not at the moment. Not now, thanks. So that is the update on the Bertie competition. So now I've gone over the works in progress, I am going to go on to the finished projects. So I have got 2 finished projects. So the first one was a flower that I made for my husband, and I'm talking a bit quieter because he is in the house at the moment. I made this using a Toft kit. It was made using purple, I think amethyst, and dark green, which I will look up the colours for them just in case you want to get the kit. I made this for our anniversary, so he will be opening it in a few weeks now, in 2 weeks now. The project overall was really good. I did film a video on it again, giving any hints or tips, saying how long the project took me to finish. I think that that's quite a short video. I'm trying to make my videos a bit shorter unless they're podcasts, because it's nice. I know that I'm more attracted to shorter videos. So yeah, I love the crochet with me videos because it feels like I'm not doing the project by myself. I've got someone else to sort of bounce ideas off of and chat about them. It makes it feel a bit less lonely. And as I said, I really enjoy sort of the challenge of how long it's going to take me and remembering the project, I guess. So there's quite a few videos in December that will be crochet projects with me. In November, I've got a few, and I believe next week I've got one of the projects I made for my husband is going live, or it's going up on my channel. So I made 2 in total. So this one didn't use a lot of yarn. I don't know whether I wrote down exactly how much it took, but I think I definitely talk about it in the video. I don't know whether I've written it down anywhere else. Ignore that aeroplane if you can hear it. But yeah, here is what it looked like. I really enjoyed it, and I'm hoping that it looks good. I'm hoping that they can both stand up next to the photos that we got of our wedding day. We've got a shelf where sort of our key mementos of the wedding are, so I'm hoping that they can go on there. And I'm also hoping that my husband really likes them, because for me they're quite sentimental, so hopefully they will be sentimental for him as well. I know that they can't be replaced, but hopefully this will go towards making it a bit better, I guess. And then the second finished project is totally different. So I've started making Christmas presents for my loved ones. I asked my sister what she wanted. I said that I would be able to make anything. You know, I didn't really give her any ideas. I asked if there was anything she wanted for Christmas, and she asked me to make her a Patrick from SpongeBob. And that's exactly what I did. So I was very happy with the fact that I didn't really have to buy any yarn for this project. So the pink yarn is a cotton that I've had in my stash for a while, and I got it from my auntie. I think she didn't want it, or maybe I bought it, but yeah, I can't remember where the pink cotton came from. The green and the purple for the little flowers, I had those in my stash already. I did come into an issue where I had to buy a bit more green for sort of 2 rounds, which was really annoying, but without the 2 rounds it would have looked weird. So yeah, the pattern was interesting. Again, I have got a video coming out in December speaking about the pattern itself, because I found that it had been, or I think it has been, translated into English, and therefore some of the phrases or some of the instructions don't really carry over, which is a little bit difficult, or it's a little bit more difficult to understand what you're meant to do. So the tips and tricks that I have for that will be out the first week of December. But apart from that, he's good. He used roughly 37 grams of yarn. I didn't finish any of the yarn, I don't think. I've got a little bit left of the purple. The green I did finish, and then I had to buy some more for the top of the trousers, so that was unfortunate. But the part I really love about this project is the top part, because it looks really animated. I think it does anyway. So the eyes, and this is sewn on, the eyes, the mouth and the eyebrows, and the little belly button as well. So yeah, I just liked that it was obviously looks handmade, but the eyes and the features look like they're drawn on, like it does in sort of, you know, SpongeBob. So yeah, he has been sat on my shelf for a little while, so I will pop him back. I will be taking him to my sister's. I'm seeing my mum and my sister at the end of October. So as part of that, I think they'll probably take their Christmas presents over, so they've got them early and they're able to open them on Christmas Day. I have mentioned before, my mum lives quite far away, but also I'm going away for Christmas, so I won't be able to see her around December, I don't think, unless something comes up. So yeah, as in she surprises me or I decide to surprise her, not that anything goes wrong, of course. So yeah, hat trick, he is done. I did enjoy this project, and the only thing that was very annoying, as I said, was the fact that I had to order some more yarn, and I couldn't finish the project until the yarn had arrived, which took, I think it only took like a week or so, but it's a week where I was really into the mood to get it done, and I was so excited. I had a weekend spare to finish him, and I just couldn't, which was frustrating, but hey. So yeah, those are my 2 finished projects for the month so far. No, for the month of September, not so far. September is over, so I can't make any more projects in September. One thing that I wanted to say is about planned projects. So I have got a couple of projects that I have got planned, because I've decided to make 2 projects for Christmas. Initially I thought it would only be 1 project, but my husband surprised me and said that after he'd seen Patrick, he said that he really wanted a SpongeBob to be made. Now, SpongeBob should be, touch wood, more straightforward, because he is literally square. So the patterns I've seen, you literally crochet the squares and then you crochet them together. Hopefully he stands up, hopefully he keeps his shape, but I will see. And then obviously the arms and the legs are quite slim, so maybe they'll be more straightforwards. But yes, that is one thing that I am going to do for Christmas. Hopefully that should be more of a straightforward project, shouldn't take too long, but again I will probably film and upload a video for that as well to share more details. The other project that I am going to be working on is a Snoopy project for my dad. So I bought it from Vinted for obviously less than the selling price, and it is a stitch and story set to make a Snoopy. So I'm really excited to do that. However, I did open the instructions and I saw how many instructions there were, and it put me off starting a little bit. So I just need to get started. Once I get started, I will be fine, and I'll be able to sort of continue that. Or maybe I can do sort of half an hour a day or something, 20 minutes a day, whatever. I will get it done. So those are the 2 planned projects I've got. But I am also hoping to do a bit of a project over October where I take a few of my spare days and work through my scrap yarn. So when I say scrap yarn, this is yarn that is not in a full ball. I don't have any immediate plans for. It could be sort of little balls or just leftovers from projects. I have gathered all of the scrappy yarn in one bag, and my plan is to start to work through that over October. So I have got quite a lot of scrap yarn, and I've also got a lot of Pinterest boards and saved things on Instagrams of projects that I would like to make that could be made using scrap yarn. So I've got quite a lot of inspiration, and I'm really excited to find out what I can make in this month using my spare time to start getting through the yarn. I'd like to use a quarter of it. I don't know how realistic that is, but again, I will go through it more in the video, and I'm hoping the video will be up towards the end of the month. And again, it may be that I start other projects in the meantime, which would be great. I'm also in the middle of filming a series about decluttering. Again, I think that video is coming up in November. So there's a lot of things going on, a lot of videos being filmed behind the scenes, and hopefully a lot of projects coming this month as well. So yeah, very exciting. So the next part of this video will be about my books. So again, for anyone who is new to this series or to my podcast, hi, nice to meet you. I am currently working on a book blanket. So every time I finish reading a book, I am making a granny square to match the colours of the cover. A lot of the yarn I'm using is scrap yarn, and therefore I don't know where it comes from. I'm just matching the colours and trying to sort of de-stash really. And at the end of the videos, what I like to do is just go through the books I've read, give my thoughts, give a quick synopsis, and yeah, share some details with you really. So book number 61, can you believe it? This was a book that I read for book club. It was called A Fate Inked in Blood, and it was by Danielle L. Jenson. So again, this is book number 61. So it took me about 8 days to get through. I started it on August the 31st and finished it on September the 7th. The book is sort of set in a Nordic setting where there are gods and goddesses that sort of walk among normal people, and they can bless people or curse people with certain talents. The book follows Freya, who is a young lady who initially has been married to an awful man. She meets a man in passing, and their stories get more twisted or entwined together. He is very good for her, and she is growing more and more in love with him, wrongly or rightly. It's a very interesting book. It is quite sexy. There are quite a lot of sex scenes, so I wouldn't necessarily say it's appropriate for younger people or people who aren't interested in sort of romance books. It has got a very mystical vibe. It's quite sexy as well. I really enjoyed it, so I listened to the audiobook version, and the lady who is doing the voices for each of the characters is amazing. She has really good accents for each of them. Her pronunciation is great, and I felt like I was in the story. And I listened to that through Audible, and that's what made the experience probably a lot better as well. So the other people from my book club have read it, and they said that if they had to pronounce the names of the characters, they would really struggle because of the sort of Nordic vibes to it, or the influence, I guess. So I'm quite lucky that I would be able to have conversations about the book because I know how all of their names are pronounced. I would probably say this is in my top 10 books this year, definitely. I just really enjoyed it. Yeah, I would highly recommend it if that sounds like something you'd be interested in. This is the book next to the book cover, and this is the square in more detail. Book number 62. I started this on September the 7th and I finished it on September the 7th as well. Now, this is a book called Sex Secrets and it's by Eleanor Tattersfield. So this is a book that was started by Eleanor. She's got a few different versions out, and basically my understanding is she has quite a big Instagram following or online following. She puts up a post saying, I'm writing a book about, in this case, sex secrets, and I would like your input. So when people DM her, she sends out postcards which are completely anonymous, and people write their secrets on them. They draw pictures, they put pictures on them, etc. There's a lot of different things, a lot of different ways to make it creatively. And then when they send it back to her, she collates the best into a book. So this was all about, can you guess, sex secrets, and it was just really interesting. Some of them were quite funny, some of them were a little bit concerning, some of them were just interesting, and some of them you could tell it had taken a lot of effort for someone to or a lot of courage to come out and say it. So it was really interesting. It was so quick to get through because, again, it was just reading postcards. It was quite a small book. There's not really much more I can say on it, to be honest. I think it was started during lockdown or not long afterwards. She has other books on sort of lockdown secrets, I think, and various things like that. She also has a shop in London which you can go to and buy some of the postcards, replicas I'm imagining, or buy some quite quirky cards or mugs or different things like that. So it'll be well worth checking her link out. I will pop it in the description. But yeah, I struggled a little bit with the colours for this one because it was so colourful, but in the end I settled for the pinks and the multicolours because that sort of went with it. I used to have a really bright pink colour, but I don't know where it's gone. I use this scrap anyway, so yeah. This is the square next to the book cover, and obviously you've seen this quite close up. I'd say it was quite a quick book to get through. It wasn't life-changing, but if that's something that would interest you, I'd say go for it. You can buy a lot of them on places like Vinted as well. It's just sometimes quite interesting to hear other people's secrets because it's not necessarily talked about amongst friends, or it's not something that's often talked about out loud. The next book I finished was book 63. It is called What You Are Looking For Is in the Library, and it is by Michiko Aoyama, I think. I started this on August the 26th and finished it on September the 11th, and this was an audiobook. I borrowed this from the library as well. This, again, I've been really lucky this month because I have read a lot of books that are really good. So I really enjoyed this book. It is set in the perspective of different people, and they all come from different walks of life, but they all live in Japan quite close to the library or not too far away. And the main parts of this library is that there is one librarian who sits in a little office, and she will listen to the book that you're requesting and or the topics that you would like to know more about, and she prints off a list of books that are on your topic. For example, gardening, so she'll print out a list of books that are set about gardening, and then she may add another title at bottom that seems completely random. So in one case that was a children's book, And the woman that had received that thought that that was really strange, but she decided to take it out anyway, and she learnt some lessons from that. I won't spoil it. Just if you're struggling with anything at the moment, it's just really nice to read and know that you're not alone, and know that this is sort of temporary, or there are things that you can do to make the instance better. So I've really enjoyed that. Again, that is one of my top 5 books of this year, if not one of the top, really. It was such a good book. I would really recommend it. As I said, I listened to this one on an audiobook as well. So I hired this one through the library, and again, the characters that talk throughout the book are really help make it realistic. They have different voices for each of the characters, and it really gives a lot of personality to each of them, which is great. It was really good. It was really, yeah, I really loved the book. So yeah, highly recommend it. And I got through it fairly quickly as well. So the colours I chose, sort of again, I worked with what I had. I was looking at the cover and seeing the sunset in the window, and that's why I went with the orange, the red and the pink, and the black is to symbolise the cat and the outline of the window frame. And this is a close-up of the square. Book number 64 was Orbital by Samantha Harvey. I read this between September the 12th and September the 20th, and the book itself is really colourful, so I chose really colourful yarns. Can you tell? This is it a bit closer. So this book wasn't really my cup of tea. So it's about some astronauts that go up to space, and it's really sort of emphasising and describing their experiences in space, what they're thinking, what they're feeling, different conversations that took place before they were in space, different difficulties each of them are having, and it was really a descriptive book, if that makes sense. So not a lot of key moments happened, in my opinion, but it was very descriptive of the whole experience. Of being in space, the difficulties being in space, thoughts, different relationships between people, etc. So for me, it wasn't really my cup of tea. It wasn't really what I was interested in, but my brother read it and I think he quite enjoyed it. So it depends what you're interested in. If you want a book that's more, as said, descriptive, or a bit slower paced, or sort of not a difficult book to get through, I would advise it. But if you are looking for something that sort of captures your attention more so, I'd say maybe that's not it. So this is the book cover, and this is a close-up of the square, another one. And then the last book that I read this month is book number 65. So this is a really key book. It is The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and this is by Douglas Adams. So this book I was not necessarily... I know that it's a well-known book, it's well-loved. I've got a CD set of it in the back of my car that I haven't yet listened to, which I don't have to now. But yes, I know that it's very well talked about, it's very well loved. I wasn't really sure what to expect. I don't tend to sort of read the synopsis of the book before I jump in, or if I do, I read sort of the blurb and that's it. I don't look for any other information online because I don't want to spoil what happens in it. But with this book, I actually quite enjoyed it. So the book is about a man named Arthur Dent. He wakes up and he's having not a great time at the moment. He's a little bit grumpy and his house is about to be sort of bulldozed down. He meets up with a friend and the friend gives him some advice and they end up going to the pub together. Now the earth is ultimately destroyed. Hopefully that doesn't spoil too much. And this is the story sort of following Arthur and his friend and their journeys across the galaxy or meeting different individuals. So it's a really interesting book. I'm not usually that interested in sci-fi, doesn't usually interest me that much. However, this book was really well written and there was so much happening that it kept my interest going for the whole, you know, the whole duration of the book. Again, I listened to this on my library app and I think it was Stephen Fry? I think it was narrated by Stephen Fry, which was really, really cool. He was a really good voice actor, and again, it kept my interest throughout the whole thing because he changed his voices for different characters and he was very he had a lot of exclamations in his voices, if that makes sense. So there was a lot of different, so he really got into the book and it made it much more enjoyable to listen to, which was great. It took me 6 days to get through the whole book. I did listen to it quite a lot. I did listen to it a little bit faster as well, just to get through it a bit quicker. But I tend to do that with most of my books, to be honest. Play them on 1.25 speed or 1.5 if I'm really rushed. But yeah, it was really good. And these are the colours that I picked for the front cover. So we've got the sort of galaxy colours and then the red to symbolise the front cover. And this is the square next to the book. If you haven't read it already, I would say go for it. It is quite an interesting book and it's quite funny in times. I found myself laughing out loud like a mad woman whilst I was listening to it because some things were just quite comical. But yeah, light-hearted, feel-good book. Well, light-hearted book that's quite quick to get through. And there's so many versions of physical books and audio books as well, or CDs if that's what you listen to. So yeah, really good book. And because it's been around for ages, there's loads of different ways that you can read or listen to it. So yeah, it's great. Saying that though, I don't think that I would be overly interested in reading the rest of the books. I feel that they'd probably be a bit samey, and although I did enjoy it, I don't think that I would want to dedicate sort of many more hours to learning about the characters. I'm not that invested, if that makes sense. Whereas the book I spoke about before, Fate Inked in Blood, I'm quite invested in the characters and I would like to know what happens next. And it also helps that there's not lots of books to listen to. It's just another book that she's written that goes in the series. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I will be coming out this month with a video of where I'm at with all of the granny squares at the moment. I don't know how well you can see just here. That is my pile of granny squares. That doesn't include the ones that I have got next to me at the moment either. So I've got 65 in total. I was hoping to finish 10 books this month so that I could get to 100 by the end of the year. That didn't happen. I think that I'm finding it quite difficult to set myself too many targets, if that makes sense. So by saying that I need to read 10 books this month, it takes out the joy of reading 10 books in a month. Whereas before I set any parameters to reading, it was a lot more easy. So yeah, I think I will have to have a wiggle around of where the squares are so that I can make a blanket, but I might just have to add a few more borders, which was a possibility anyway. But I look forward to showing you that. And yeah, I think that I will just have to leave it a little bit free and easy, just see how many books I read before the end of the year, and hopefully that sort of matches into a good configuration, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. But thank you very much for watching this video. I feel like it's been a bit longer because I've got quite a lot to talk to you about, especially in terms of my plans for the next few months with videos. But other than that, I hope that you have a great October and I look forward to speaking to you soon. And until next time, take care. All the best. Bye.